Hey everybody, on this video we're going to talk about the trailer 2 for The Flash. I'm going to do like a rehash of what it is, so I'll play the trailer and then we'll talk about it. Then we're going to go to the next part, which will be talking about the controversy that goes into this film with its star Ezra Miller. He has committed a lot of crimes and a lot of people feel like his apology wasn't as sincere as people may think it is. And a lot of that is because of the severity of the crimes that he has done. And there was a whole lot of craziness going on during that period, and HBO at the time, when it was by itself, said nothing, and HBO Discovery after the merger still said nothing. So we're gonna discuss that here, and I hope you all join us on Fanbase so you can join the conversation. My camp is NIA Nerds in Action. I host my rooms 9 a.m. in the morning for recorded rooms, and I host also that night at 9 p.m. so you can meet us and have a conversation with us and possibly schedule a booking to come to the podcast. If you get on stage, you can be tipped love. That means you can make money for coming in and, you know, sharing your thoughts and stuff like that. So we appreciate that. Or you could get a subscriber. You never know. So let's get into it, guys. So here we go. We're about to look at the trailer, and is this even a Flash movie? Is it? I don't know. You tell me.
I lost my parents. That pain made me who I am. I spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs of the past. As if fighting crime would bring my parents back. You actually did it.
I can't imagine what you've been through.
I love you, Monkey.
You lost both parents in one day.
Barry! Call 911 now!
I went back in time to save my parents. But instead, I completely broke the universe.
If you went back and changed the past, this world must die. You changed the future.
Do you know what this symbol stands for? It means hope, right? I will help you fight Zod.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
I have to undo what I did.
These scars we have make us who we are. I'm not meant to go back and fix them. Don't let your tragedy define you.
What did you do?
No matter what we do, we're not going to be able to fix this.
No! Nobody dies!
You're strapped to your parachutes.
Where's yours?
All right. So June 16th. And yeah. So now we get to the juicy part, which is we're going to talk about this, the trailer, and then we're going to go into the part where we talk about all of the craziness that has happened when it comes to Ezra Miller. Okay? All right. So it's no secret that Michael Keaton will be in this movie. He would be reprising his role as the Batman from the, I think it was the Tim Burton movies. Now with this, I know he's basically playing a super older Batman, like even older than Ben Affleck. You know, like in the Batman Beyond kind of way. So I mean, it's going to be interesting because by this point in time, he is super seasoned. Like he has all the tech, he has all the gadgets. He should at least have everything he needs to take down the Kryptonian. So, you know, later down in the trailer, you're gonna see Kryptonians in there. I'm thinking they're going to do like a Flashpoint paradox, but they're going to focus it on the original Snyderverse, stardom, and the most popular parts of the Snyderverse. I doubt Darkseid will even make a cameo in this because, I mean, I don't think he will. It will make sense though because it seemed like when they was in the Justice League movie that they were hinting that they were going to do like a Flashpoint, kind of like how Dark Apocalypse was, where they go back and try to fix stuff because everybody's dead. And you know, in Dark Apocalypse, when the Flash dies, you don't get no more resets. Flash can't go back and wipe a whole timeline away, which is basically turns into another universe. You can't do that if he's dead in your timeline or whatever. You would have to get one from another timeline to wipe your timeline away, and you would just reform into another timeline. You know what I'm saying? Your existence would disappear. But anyway, that's all like science fiction-y stuff, but that's basically, I think what they're doing here is they're going to swap out Darkseid for Zod, because Zod is still a problem. If anything, he's probably more of a problem than Apocalypse ever could be without the I can't remember that equation is called, the anti-life equation, without that. So Michael Keaton is back as Batman, and of course we're gonna get that whole the parents getting killed, the Flash parents getting killed again. If you've seen the TV show, you know that was, you know, a big deal, and it's still a big deal. And yet, like I said, Zod is back. So what this telling me is that he is going to be the guy that's probably trying to stop them from changing the timeline, because it just, you have to have some kind of plot point. You have to have something that's super. The only thing that weirds me out with why they would choose Zod is a little too OP for a Flash. I mean, Flash tried to fight the Superman in the Justice League movie, whether you want to take that as, you know, stuff. I mean, you know, evidence or whatever. And Superman saw him coming while in the middle of holding like 2 or 3 of the Justice Leaguers on his own. So if he can do that, I mean, Zod's like a step under Superman. This is just a mismatch. Then Batman's in there too. It's a mismatch. But hey, you know, it's fan service at its finest, because they got to do whatever they can to sell this movie, because they don't really have a choice at this point, you know, after all of the controversy. So now we got Supergirl, and it's not the one that you're used to with the blonde hair and blue eyes. They then went with a more reserved looking Supergirl who looks like she means business. I mean, she look like she mean business. I would love for her to be on my team if I was in this predicament. And you know, you got Michael Keaton in this bat suit doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? He back. And now you have multiple Flashes in this movie, because they're going to be going through the multiverse. So the multiverse basically is, think of the main timeline as being like where all universes kind of align with, and there's like parallel universes or whatever that all have the same things going on, but just different situations. And there's infinite number of those. In the multiverse, you're able to travel to those different universes. They may have different rules, magic, science. It's just another world. It's like Marvel and DC. Think of it like that. When you go into another one, you'll see different characters, or you won't see none of those characters. But in another universe, you might see all of those characters, but they're different. All of that feeds into a multiverse. That's that. Then you have timelines that diverge off of those different universes that are also infinite. So you can have different timelines in Earth 1, right? And they're completely different because it's different from Earth 2. But everything in this is just different situations that could have happened in Earth 1 that are alive. And you can travel to those if you're a speedster. Now, if you go to Earth 2, Earth 2 has different timelines, an infinite number of them. You can travel back and through from time. Or you can travel to a different timeline that would kind of be perceived as a different universe, basically, once it verges off to a certain point. But at the end of the day, it's still going to have the same characters that's in that Earth, that reality, if that makes sense. So it's the same realities, but different timelines. So this looks like they're going to do the multiverse thing where they're going to have multiple Earths and multiple timelines. So it's going to be a head twister, because that's really the only way you could get another Flash or another Supergirl that looks different, is if you have another Earth, which is just a universe that's a parallel universe, but it has different things that can happen in it because it's different. Or things may be similar, but the people look different. There's so many different things you can do because it's infinite. You can do anything. That's why they're doing this movie, because they got to wipe away the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse is its own Earth. And it has multiple different timelines in the Snyderverse. As you can see, you have the Snyder cut, and then you have the Joss Whedon cut. Those are two different timelines, but the same Earth. That makes sense. One was made by Joss Whedon. The other one was made by Zack Snyder. This, going into the James Gunn verse, would be, I would consider, Earth 2, which is James Gunn's verse. Everything that he makes in his universe is separate from what happened in the Snyderverse, or even before that, in the Josh Nolan, or I think it was Josh Nolan, with the Batman Beyond, Begins and Dark Knight. All of that is a separate universe. Every last one of those trilogies and everything that came out before Snyderverse, or even after, is all going to be different universes. You know, and different situations that can happen, even if they wanted to reboot that same thing. Like with Keaton, they could basically do a thing called a retcon, where they could go in there and change certain plot points or whatever from the old movies and call it another Earth, or another timeline that deviated from what, you know, would have happened if certain things went a certain kind of way, like in that universe. So there's all different kind of ways. Like I say, it's all infinite. You make up whatever you want for this stuff. So that's the multiverse explained. And don't worry about it. Just have fun when it comes to that. The movie looks interesting. We have, let's see, Ben Affleck is back. He was the one that started it all with the Flash kind of introduction and everything. So it's good to see that he's back, playing a prominent role at that, you know, as Batman. And, you know, he's getting in the suit as well. Yep, he gets back in the suit and gets on his bike and starts taking care of business. My personally, my favorite Batman of this new era of Batman, he just got the hands. I mean, hands and feet all day. I'm going to show that video before this is over with. I'm going to show why Ben Affleck is the best Batman with the hands specifically. Now you remember I said I was gonna show you that scene. Now this is what Ben Affleck does, man. He gets down. Okay. Don't forget. They ain't got no more guns. Hands. Oh. Uh-oh. Hands. They going from miles getting through again. Oh. Put some respect on Ben Affleck's name, okay? I know a lot of y'all out there be talking junk, talking about that ain't your favorite Batman and this, and that. Hands, okay? Hands and feet, okay? Don't play with my guy like that. Don't do that. Put some respect on Ben Affleck's name, Batfleck, okay? Michael Keaton, he was good across the board. If you go back and look at his old movies, dude basically was the first guy, the blueprint for a Batman, if you really want to be honest, because everything that he did, if you fast forwarded and made it in today's time, it will still hit hard with better VFX effects. So that's lit. That, you know, these two, the best Batman with the hands are on here, and you know what I'm saying, that's how they doing it. So I think that's pretty much it as far as, like, you know, crazy things that's going on. Because there's a lot of action with Batman, you know. Michael Keaton's Batman, putting in work and trying to stop the invasion of Zod on this other Earth that he's probably from. Either that, or maybe this is happening in real time in his Earth or whatever, and Ezra Miller caused all of these different things to kind of flumble on top of each other. It might be a crisis of two Earths or something. They did that in the Flash TV show, where you basically have it's not an incursion, basically, where two universes combine and elements from both take over or whatever, and it becomes one Earth, one universe. There's no telling what could happen in that. Like I said, Zod could have popped up right after that happened, because time and everything else changed, and then all the elements changed. And so it's like you bring in the Keaton universe to the Snyderverse, and it just melded together. and it changed Superman, it changed this, it changed origin stories, it changed a whole bunch of stuff. So that could be a thing that's happening here as well, where his Earth is the one that's getting messed up, and Ezra caused this to happen by causing an incursion from changing time and breaking time itself, basically, and causing things to go out of whack, which is something he always does in the TV show. It's just they never did it in a movie. He always does this in the TV show. Oh, you killed my wife. Let me go back in time. Oh, you killed my daughter. Let me go back in time. Oh, you killed my daddy. Let me go back in time. Like, it's a reoccurring theme with him. And then he's like, oh, well, guys, the whole season, we got to figure out how to fix it back together because I messed it up. Yeah, I made my own problem so we can have another season. Craziness. But, lazy writing. It happens when you have such a thing like that you can use. It happens. And I'm thinking this probably is one of those Zod's people. I can't remember their names because they didn't really do a good job in the Man of Steel. So this is basically, like I said, it's going to be a combination of Man of Steel, Batman, all the Batman from the past and now. So it's going to be a combination of all these different things. Now we're going to look at the controversy that goes into Ezra Miller. I have some videos here, and we're gonna see what the hype is about and how they're gonna market this movie. I don't know. All right, this is gonna be with E-Man Movies Reviews. I follow him. I'm one of his subscribers, and basically he's gonna go over all of the evidence and the show actual footage of the crap that Ezra Miller has done. And once you see this, you'll understand why this is a problem. And there's also another video that's going to talk about the apology, and then I'll kind of skim over that and let you guys kind of get this information and soak it in because it's very important.
Talked about Ezra Miller for probably more times we talked about Fast and Furious. Ezra Miller has been arrested multiple times.
Yep.
Ezra Miller has harassed people, have restraining orders put on them, left them, let go of them, whatever. And for a long time, I've asked the question, like, yo, WB, what are you doing? Where you at? WB, what you gonna say about this? And the biggest issue has been the fact that, the Flash movie is shot. And because it's been shot, some people have been saying, like, yo, Ezra got arrested like twice in Hawaii. It's not a good look. And recast the Flash. Just recast the Flash. Because I'm sorry, ain't nobody checking for Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is not putting butts in seats.
Bruh.
Just not. So, as I've been saying for the longest, WB needs to recast and just take that loss. They need to. Because ain't no way you do, unless they do very select, hand-picked, top-of-the-line press and tell those press, don't ask nothing about them arrests. Don't say nothing. You ain't no way you're going to promote this movie well. I just don't see how. Now, it's totally possible that Ezra Miller will get recast after this movie. Because you can't just throw somebody else in this role because Ezra is playing multiple versions of themselves. So
yeah,
you're pretty much going to be shooting the whole movie over. And I don't think this is a movie that's going to earn that money back in the first place if they reshoot it and recast. So what does that leave for WB? They just not going to do nothing. Ezra Miller reportedly remains the Flash in the DCU movie despite all them arrests.
He's still
Woo-woo.
the Flash after all those arrests. Okay? He's still the Flash after all those arrests.
Woo-woo. Must be nice. Of course.
So, I'm going to skip a little forward so you can see the first incident of the first crime he committed. All right.
So it's going to be a little blurry for maybe like the first minute or two, but you can hear. I'll try and skip a little bit for the unimportant stuff, but listen to 3/4 of it, and we'll see what we're dealing with here with Ezra Miller.
And then what?
With my good girl.
Okay.
And he come right up to me and just like
Started shouting.
no. I know he spit on me.
Okay, so he spit in your face.
Two. And I was
Okay.
like, what's up, cuz?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
And then I
Example.
jumped in and held him back.
Yeah.
You
So
know
you
what?
spit in your face for no reason.
Yeah. I was like way across the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he thought he was somebody else.
Gonna chase him down.
No. I got assaulted and I started filming. Okay. I can show you the video.
Let's talk stories outside.
Let's talk story outside.
And Ezra Miller, this is on the warrant.
That's Ezra right there.
Code unstable 29, location nil.
First of all, let me just say, I don't care what's happening. I don't care what is said. I don't care what is done. Put the camera on me. Put the camera on me. You spit in my face, we're fighting. Period. That's that right there to me is like peak disrespect. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you my loved one, family member, whatever. We're fighting. I'm putting mad hands on you if you spit on me.
If you spit on me, yes.
You could hit me. You could call me out my name, whatever. You spit on me, we're going to have physical altercations. Just saying that. So anyway, okay, let's get back to it. Sorry, just want to put that out there because I don't know why these people just allow Ezra Miller to spit on anybody, or either way. I don't know. I don't know if Ezra spit on him or vice versa. Whatever it is, I don't play that. I just don't play that. But anyway, here we go.
I got assaulted in this bar twice in a row. I filmed myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art. What's your name? What's your badge number? Tell me your name and your badge number.
Wakey.
Ezra.
Full name, full badge number. Tell me your name and your badge number.
Oh,
Tell me your
Ezra,
name and your badge number. Please don't touch me. Tell me your name and your badge number. Now. Tell me your name and your badge number now.
136.
You talking to the police like that?
Central 131.
I mean arrested for disorderly conduct?
Yeah.
Okay. I was assaulted, you understand that, right?
Okay.
Well, you could have told us that instead of running away and playing all of these theatrics. You could have just told us that.
I'm sorry,
No, you're not
officer.
sorry. You could have took
I am
this thing
sorry.
real quick. But
I'm
no,
sorry.
you wanted to play the game.
I was complying.
Well, you wasn't complying.
I was. You said get off the road. I got off the road.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you
I
never.
walked on the edge of the
Actually,
road.
Central 131
So what did I do wrong?
You spit in somebody's
A
face.
guy in that bar declared himself.
Let me just say real quick, you gotta feel mighty entitled to yell at the police like that. We just saw Ryan Coogler get arrested. Just saying. You ain't see him raising his voice and doing, and he had plenty more reason to be upset. Plenty.
I forgot all about the Ryan Coogler situation. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, dude spit on somebody, cussing out the police. You know what I'm saying? Just being extra. And meanwhile, they then arrested the brother for going to the bank to get money out his account in Atlanta where I'm at, right? Come on, man.
More. Very, very clear example of feeling privileged enough to the point that you think you can go and scream and yell and walk around in a very assertive manner around armed police and yell and think ain't nothing gonna happen to you.
And a lot of y'all probably don't know this about me, but I do work in law enforcement. So try it if you want to. But if anything had went physical, could have went very left quick. I'm talking tasers, pepper spray, aspartame. If he had pulled out a weapon, it could have been deadly. So you don't want to play with the police. They are not trained to play around with you guys. They are literally trained to stop the threat. And unfortunately, a lot of people get caught up in those situations where the police officers do a little too much, or they do way too much because of their training, but they're dealing with I guess you could say circumstances that you really can't prepare for truly. You just have to be ready for it when it happens, and a lot of them they just too jumpy with that stuff. But regardless of that, you don't want to do what this man did. Okay, I'm just saying.
A lot of us ain't got that kind of privilege. That's what we talk about, privilege now. I don't want to hear nobody talking about, oh, well, I'm poor too and I don't have nothing. Nah, that ain't the privilege we talking about. We talking about the ability to think that in society you can get away with talking to police like that and ain't nothing else gonna happen to you. As a black man, I would never. I don't care how wrong I think the police are, because I want to make it home tonight. I want to make it home after that altercation. Ezra clearly felt as though they were in the right. And because they're in the right, they're entitled to talk to the police however they want.
Yeah.
Anywho.
As a Nazi, I have it on film, and he attacked me.
Okay, so?
I claim my 9th Amendment rights to not be unlawfully persecuted for a crime of no designation, disorderly conduct being something I am unguilty of. I claim my 4th Amendment rights to not be searched and seized on no probable cause that you will not be able to offer in a court of law. I claim my 4th Amendment rights to not be searched and seized. Please do not touch my ring.
Yes, to come off.
Okay.
You'll get it
I claim my 4th Amendment rights to not have search and seizure unlawfully without probable cause. I claim my 4th Amendment rights to not be unlawful. Hey, you just touched my penis. Please don't do that. I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my 4th Amendment rights. These are Nerf guns, just in case you worry that they're bullets. Those are Nerf bullets.
Thank you for letting
me. They are fake and they are a toy.
Thank you for letting me.
This is my belt buckle and my Nerf bullets.
I appreciate that.
Please don't take them from me. The flash ring means a lot to me.
It's like, the messed up thing is, it's so hard to even like critique these things, because if he's joking, you're minimizing and using, trans status or queer status or whatever in a non-genuine way. And if you're serious, it's like,
So yeah, that is one of the crimes or whatever that he did. He spit on a guy, and then if you go back and look at the articles, he strangled a lady and did a whole bunch of other stuff that weren't caught on videotape. And in this situation, he did use the LGBTQ to kind of get out of the situation, to try to deflect and stuff like that from him committing a crime, basically assaulting somebody. If you spit on somebody, that's assault. I could sue you, and you can be charged criminally. It ain't a huge charge you'll get, but it's still assault. So at the end of the day, like, this is just that stuff. This ain't even going into the craziness of other stuff that he's done, which we're going to talk about that as well.
Is back in the news. Can I even give a recap on the Ezra Miller has been accused of so much stuff, has been guilty of so much stuff. Whether it's choking people out, assaulting women,
Officers arrested the 29-year-old Vermont resident early this morning for assault.
Grooming young kids, allegedly, endangering young children, evading the law, getting arrested multiple times.
Big Island police have arrested Miller about a dozen times since early March.
Trespassing, thievery. Ezra's done it. Okay, whatever it is, Ezra did it.
And they are expected to appear in court this afternoon on charges of disorderly conduct, harassment, and obstructing a highway.
Then we also talked about how, and I've got plenty, I might as well make a whole playlist, because Ezra been in the news like every other week. It's been 0 days since an Ezra just news. I wouldn't say incident, but just news. So been in the news like every other week. It's been 0 days since an Ezra just news.
He charged with disorderly conduct, kisses fan on the mouth without consent, cosplays as Toadette, I don't know what that is, sexual harassment allegations, accused of running a cult in Iceland, Airbnb, threatening to knock out fan posing for selfie, choking fan incident at bar, makes threats against suspected KKK activists. That was a big thing as well. That came out. I was like, what the heck is wrong with this dude? Arrested in Hawaii for disorderly conduct. Issued a restraining order against former, I guess, cultists or something. WB and DC hold emergency meeting in 2022. Second arrest in Hawaii for alleged assault. Accused of copyright infringement. Accused of child grooming and issued. Wow. And accused of evading service by child grooming. Yeah. That's all I needed to know. The child grooming stuff is just, and I'm gonna look that up right now just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So the child that popped all of this child allegation stuff off was the girl named Takata Iron Eyes. Her parents had basically let her go and hang out with Ezra Miller, and then Ezra Miller flew her out to wherever he was. I think it said in London, and that's when things got dicey because she came back home, so her parents were bruises, and during her time there, Ezra Miller used drugs, manipulation and abuse to basically get her to do what he wanted her to do and to submit into saying that she is transgender or non-binary and all that other stuff. So that is where I draw the line. Like I said, I'm not going to watch this film in theaters. I'm not paying for it, not doing any of that. And they're scheduled to go to court, and I believe July 12th of this year. So yes, this is all the stuff that's a long list of things that's happened with other children. Like, he has a 12-year-old granted order of protection against Ezra Miller. Like, there's so many things. Just look it up. You'll see it. It's there. And he's going to end up having to answer for all this stuff. So how are they going to market this movie? You might ask. How are they going to sell The Flash? Well, the first thing they did was fan service. You're going to get all of the Batman that you could think of in this movie. You're going to get a little bit of a Superman, but Supergirl. And you're going to get a super villain. So they put Zod in there. It's all fan service. That's all this is. That's what they're trying to do to get this movie over. They've had Tom Cruise come out and say, oh, this movie was great. He saw it. You should go see it. They got, James Gunn is not going to really say a whole lot because, he has to remain neutral in this situation. But Ezra Miller did do an apology, and we'll go into that, and we'll show you what the apology is, and it's up to you whether or not you believe it is sincere, or if you believe that this absolves all of this stuff that's happened, because these kids are still going to be traumatized even after the fact. And even with me reading what this girl said on Instagram, Takata, she said some things that are known things that people say when they've been abused and done wrong. So, you know,
talked about how they apologized. For what? For who? For what? When? Why? I don't know. They just gave a blanket apology from their rep. They didn't come. You didn't see Ezra on camera. You didn't see nothing. They said that they was in therapy, that they're getting help, and they got mental health issues. All right. Whatever. I've said that I want to see the proof in the pudding. I want to see the work, because we saw a report conveniently right before Ezra's statement. We saw a report saying that WB was about to scrap the film, the Flash movie, and on top of that, WB said that they were weighing a couple options, and one of the options was that Ezra had to apologize and do limited press for the movie, yada, yada, yada. So
at this point, you've seen the evidence, you've seen everything you need to see. If you need more information, there are plenty of articles online. There are even videos of him committing crimes and people. Like I said, if you just seen earlier, he strangled a woman, he spit on a man, and got aggressive with the police, and he's been accused of grooming children, and he has court dates that are coming this year in 2023 and beyond, because he did so many crimes. Like I said, and no one's talking about it, and they're not talking about it because they want to sell this movie. They want to hurry up, get it out the way, and move on with life. So, for me personally, like I said, I'm not going to watch it. Most of the people I know, we're talking about skipping this one, and then we'll go and watch it on HBO. Oh, it's not HBO Max anymore. On Max. And I just hope that everybody gets justice. I hope that he gets the help that he needs, even still. But yeah, that's the whole situation with this Flash movie, and it sucks because I love the Flash. If you see me earlier in the video, I can talk about the Flash all day, because the Flash, it gets me with the science fiction-y parts of dealing with multiverse, timelines, and all those other things. And as a nerd, that's like the best thing ever, is being able to have content, you know, or a brand that you can really talk about, character you can really talk about, and never run out of stuff to talk about. And you know, when this movie comes out, you know, and whoever sees it, it's like you can't help but to give somebody a dirty look if they go see this movie. You know what I'm saying? Or if they go and see it and don't tell you that they did know about the stuff that happened and how they feel about it. Because at the end of the day, like I said, people got to get paid. There's a lot of people in this movie other than him, but he's the front runner. So if we do give this movie too much money, they're gonna think it's okay to not check somebody morally when they're doing this. And it's only fair that anybody really at this point who's involved in stuff gets checked, right? And what I mean by getting checked is, if they're actively in the midst of committing crimes, they don't need to be starring in no movie. You know what I'm saying? Before they get help. So they did say that he went to go get help. But, you know, like I said, does that absolve the crime, though? Do you still feel in your mind that absolves the crime? I don't know.
But you got people thinking that, you know, they can do no wrong because they're a certain ish ish group of people, and so they just think that they can rule the world and do nothing, wrong and stuff like that. Like Mina Kunis running around talking about she don't take showers and stuff, but once a week. See, like none of them. The Hollywood ain't what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm gonna say as far as.
No, Hollywood was always like that. They just protected people better back in the day because you didn't have social media or access to a lot of stars. Like they were way worse before you had all this information. Like if you.
I mean, as far as keeping it out of the public, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were better at keeping it out of the public. Yeah.
And tell you, no, she ain't doing no interviews today. Oh no, hell no. And the assistants will always get flagged. You know what I'm saying? The assistant, this person got a horrible assistant. Now we didn't know all the stuff that was going on, but the assistants and the some of the handlers would jump in, be like, oh no, nice dress, but not today. You know what I'm saying? I think the only person that has mastered keeping themselves out of stuff is Beyonce and her team. She kind of keep it old school, even though stuff go on with her. She keeps that to herself, and she knows the move in a certain manner because she's a black woman. She already knows she already got so many strikes against her. And certain white people would feel the same way. They couldn't even talk about certain views against white supremacy at one time because they were working with them, and a lot of them were running the movie industry. Years later, you find out the truth. So I'm talking about the movement and how, your publicists handle you as your image. And so, you know what I'm saying? Even though other people taking pictures of him and stuff like that, but you know what I'm saying? His publishers should have denied all of his, going out and events and stuff like that. All of that should have been canceled. You feel me? He shouldn't have been nowhere near a camera. Not even his own camera.
Right.
Until they got him some help. That's the part I'm talking about, the publicist part. But it seems like everybody's like, it's okay, it's just wood on the bridge, da-da-da. Nah, you supposed to be like, nah, look, your ass going to rehab today. Goodbye. Hello. See you when you come back. But until you go, we can't put you on no red carpet. We can't put you on no magazine. Ain't nobody trying to interview you. That's what they should have told him. Even if people wanted to see him be a mess and make a fool of himself, because people love that. That's the job of your publicist to tell you the truth. The unbridled truth. Nobody want to see you looking like this. The fans that really care about you. You know what I'm saying? So his publicist should have told him the truth. You're a mess and you're strung out and you need help. You know what I'm saying? So intervention should have been staged. But they waited too late to do it. You know what I'm saying? He was acting on the set, acting a fool on the set, and doing stuff he wanted to do, aggravating people. So no one really did anything about it till it was too late, and now everybody want to cry wolf. That's not really how it works.
Yeah, you right.
Well, that's how Tiffany Haddish handled her situation. She when that stuff came out about what happened with what her and Harry Spears did, even though it was like years later, she pretty much just dropped off social media. Like, she ain't had no commercials on TV. She ain't have nothing. They pulled all her stuff. And she just sat back in the cut and handled it. And then all of a sudden, she slowly brought herself back out. And now they not even talking about it now. She back to doing what she was doing.
Yep. I forgot all about that. But let's talk about it.
I saw her swanky ass the other day doing something. I said, like, we ain't forgot. We know you a husband. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I know. But you know what I'm saying?
She's not that bad. Go ahead, I'm gonna let you finish.
They're supposed to be taking pictures of him on a beach somewhere. See, back in the day, it was about image. They claim that you were doing a bunch of crazy stuff. The first thing they tell you to do is go on vacation. And they stage a nice part of you with your family. Family you ain't talked to in 14, 15, 20 years. You having a good time. They made you go and do volunteer work in the city. That's the only type of pictures whenever your career and your image was down the toilet drain. See what I'm saying? He should have been feeding kids at Honduras or something, giving out bread. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do. He's supposed to be picking up trash on the side of the highway. People look at Ezra Miller has humbled himself after his. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's supposed to be doing. That's the only pictures of him that should have came out.
Yeah, I mean, Still, I just draw the line. I can't absolve somebody who did something to kids, man. That's just my thing. Unfortunately.
And I'm in that category as well.
So
yeah, I agree.
I'm bootlegging.
Ain't nobody want Timothy Hadley and their child you know what thing. But I'm saying when he first got rowdy at that party and got drunk, they should have nipped it in the bud the first time. He got booked in the club. They said, oh, no, come on. We got something for you. That's what the first thing they should have did. He should have been out there doing mission work, handing out bread and stuff, dropped his arm off, took his phone, took his keys, and sent him on a nice little mission trip and photographed him feeding the hungry. I bet you he would have went out there in that nice hot summer heat where everybody else was turning up inside. He would have thought twice about that. But see, didn't nobody want to do that. So he is grown. His publicist and stuff still is supposed to make sure he's not. And even the publicist for Warner Brothers, fire that person too. Whoever was handling the movie, they need to be terminated.
Oh, well, Discovery bought HBO, so a lot of that stuff that was going on, most of them been either replaced or fired.
Well, all praises. Yep. We talked about that the last time we had a room up.
I think so, yeah.
Mhm.
So, this is, I was trying to,
Somebody get fired, though. That's a little too late.
Well, it took somebody else to buy the company out to get them people out of there. Because the whole DC franchise right now is toxic. Outside of this, not for criminal stuff, but it's still toxic.
Hell, Josh Whedon was doing some bull.
Yeah. And a lot of people were saying they didn't like him, and then of course the Fisher situation, he didn't like the way he was treated, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And then he wasn't even supposed to come in, but they only brought him in because Snyder's daughter had passed away from suicide. So
yeah,
it's just rough.
Yeah, they just brushed him off like he was a dead fly or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just poor man's wife, daughter died. Like she, you know what I'm saying? Not just died, she took her own life.
Yep. And so this
They
just
was giving her treatment. She was in therapy, and they said Zack Snyder was hands on with her treatment. But even with you being hands on, anything could have set that child off. A mental illness ain't what we thought it was. It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's a different beast to deal with when you got a child. Like your wife is doing everything, you got her.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
And even with that, she was able to run them people off enough. You know what I'm saying? Get away from them enough to take her own life. Even though her father put positive people in her life, and she had made strides, something caused her to feel that's not worth it. And I can never be whatever. You never know. Maybe her father being a director and her wanting to be a regular teacher was enough for her to be like, I'm not adding any value to society. Could have been the negative high school friends she had that trickled in her college life for. Anything could have caused this new generation to give up.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so much pressure. That's why your kids being famous ain't everything.
Yeah, that's why. But at the end of the day, dog, we trying to be famous more than we trying to be rich. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. You got to be famous. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't famous, I don't know what to tell you.
Scorpio, we talking about Zack Snyder's daughter that killed herself.
Who?
No. Zack Snyder, the one that made the movie, the real well off.
I try to tell them having all that money don't mean shit. That's what I was trying to tell folks. That's why I told her to be famous.
Don't be insensitive to what happened to that poor girl. Come on. She wasn't trying to be famous. Something happened to her and she just never got over it, and they were trying to get her mental health treatment. And while he was doing the movie, she killed herself.
Like on set?
She killed herself while he was on set.
He was
in
on
their
set.
home.
Oh, yeah, that's what I ain't hear about that.
Yeah. And they instead of giving him 2 or 3 month bereavement leave, because he had to pay everything out of pocket. Because when And the policies, if someone you love kills themselves, the insurance company don't pay for it. So he paid for her stuff out of pocket, and wherever she was living at, I heard she was in and out of his home. That's what I did hear. You know, she was maybe 25 to 30. She was caught very young. So he had to, you know, him and his wife had to figure out what their ex-wife, whoever, I don't know if he was still married to her mother, but they had to make funeral arrangements and try to get therapy for what had happened. They had her in treatment. She had therapy. She had a life coach. She had all the things to help her get through it. But something happened to her, and she just couldn't get over it. Now, he did say he did talk to his daughter, and he kept in a lot of touch with her. And she was okay with him doing the movie. But something happened while he was in the middle of making the movie. I think he was like 3 months in, 3 to 4 months in, and she just went in there and just ended her life. Yeah, so.
No, that's fine. Be like that.
That's what we talking about. Yeah, so, you know, Warner Brothers didn't want to give him the 2 months additional he needed to kind of get therapy for himself and his current wife or ex-wife, whoever her mother is, with all due respect, and the remaining of his kids that he have left. So they hired somebody else to redo the movie, but the movie didn't turn out right. So the fans asked for the Zack Snyder version of the Justice League to be remade. And so Warner Brothers, you know, they cleared it, and that's the stuff we're talking about. We're talking about how the movie industry wants to protect the ones that are involved in foolishness, but the ones who need time off from certain things, they don't want to. There's only like a few actors, like the one actor.
Yeah, they tell you, they like, nigga, they don't give a fuck. It's like a job. It's like, shit, whatever you got going on.
Well, okay, so let's put this in retrospect. The director of the original X-Men movie was strung out high in brothels. His bun's out, and they didn't fire him. I mean, he's white. He's also white. Zack Snyder's white too.
What?
Who?
Zack Snyder is white as well.
Oh yeah, you talking about that nigga
Man.
here?
No.
The CEO at the time was Asian, just so y'all know.
It don't matter if you
So race didn't matter in
what
this.
happens. Like, it just depends on what the amount of money they can make from you. If you're in Hollywood and if they put a big budget, you're in a big budget film, they're not going to just sit a big budget film on the shelf. They're going to figure out a way to get that. That's why they did what they did with Ezra Miller. And it's kind of like the situation with Jamie Foxx, where he was making his movie, he had a stroke, and they pretty much used a stunt double to finish. Paul Walker is another example. He died during the Fast and Furious. They CGI'd his ass and kept it moving. It's a business, so they don't look at you as a commodity until you can't produce, and when you can't produce, they're going to find somebody else who can, because they're not going to lose money behind something happening personal in your life. That's just how Hollywood works.
My problem is this. My problem with that is this. 2 months is nothing compared to them, because it took them the same 2 months that they took, that they could give that man, that's the additional 2 months it took to finish up the rest of the project.
No. You got to think of it this way. Okay, if I got you for you got other projects that people have to do. You only have actors for a certain amount of time when they schedule you for a movie. So if I have 5 actors I need that are the main people in this movie, and we go 2 months over shooting, then all of a sudden you have scheduling conflicts. That person has to go do this, the other person has to go do that. So what they do is like,
It's still happening.
yeah, but they don't. Well, that's because of editing and stuff. That's why they replaced them so fast. The movie came out late because they had to re-edit stuff and take so much stuff out and do reshoots with other people. But if he would have actually finished the movie, like if his daughter wouldn't have passed it, he would have finished it. They would have just, it would have came out when it was supposed to. Because, I mean, I worked in Hollywood. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you from experience. Nobody's going over budget for a personal. I hate to tell you, nobody's going over budget for a personal situation. They don't do that in Hollywood. They just get another person and they keep it moving. Because I got to pay all these actors, all these staff people, all these writers. It's not part of the budget. So if I take 2 months off on a production, that means you have to pay everybody that's part of that production.
I totally get what you're saying. I'm not being negative. I'm saying the same issues they have late, whatever. It would have been better just get him in 2 months and move on. Y'all already is a second like company as it is.
This is when I learned.
Gonna make nothing different, and then end up having to redo the movie anyway.
This is what I learned about Hollywood. I don't know how old you are, but the first time I experienced something like this was when they did the Twilight Zone movie, the first Twilight Zone movie. A little kid died on a set, and an adult died on the set, and Steven Spielberg was directing it. Do you know they shut production down for a couple of days and then started right back up, even though 2 people died on the set?
At least they gave him a couple of days. They didn't even get him in a week.
Oh shoot, that's ruthless. But it's business.
At least they got 2 days. 2 days. They didn't want to give him that. So no shade. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying with respect. With much respect, I understand what you're saying. It's Hollywood. They're on a personal days, that, and the third. Okay, I understand. I'm gonna check on my white clothes, y'all. It's laundry day today.
Even Brandon Lee, if you watch the movie The Crow, he got killed on the set, and they finished the movie anyway.
Yep. They gonna finish these movies regardless of what's going on around it. They gonna finish these movies.
The lady that got killed on the set of Rust, the armorer, the one who got shot, they went back to shoot the movie because the court stuff is over with. They went back to finish the movie. So Hollywood does not care, period, about anybody. They're going to do what they need to do to make that money.
And it's up to us, the people who are receiving all of the facts and information, to choose whether or not we're going to support these things that they put out. Because if this does make $1 billion, what are we saying from a moral standpoint, us the viewers? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as consumers, you're right. So I'm just going in there because like I said, I can't watch that stuff. My vision's too bad. So I unfortunately, now unless I wait for it to come out on the streaming platform. But that's the only reason why. But I'm not going to be posting pictures next to the signs. And y'all won't catch me doing it. I'm not doing that.
I'm bootlegging. I'm telling you.
Man, Swift in the same category, bootleg.
All day. Hell, you ain't even gotta do that no more.
Bootlegging the playoffs. Even black people who are not like really good nerdy fans, even they like that nigga everybody wrong. They got the men harassing these women and breaking in folks' houses. If that was a black person. So everybody is saying that about Ezra Miller.
Yeah, that's why Jonathan Majors is getting the shaft right now.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to use him as a cover-up. But my thing is this. I hope that the brother invested his money. I'm not going to say it's my place to tell him who to date, but you need to be mindful when you date outside your race, when you work in the industry. And this child was working on the set of Ant-Man, so that's an infringement on Disney part. Whoever let them work together and they're not married, they should have put them on 2 different sets. I know that Tom Holland and Zendaya, but they are young teenagers. These are 2 grown people. You know what I'm saying? You can't really do too much with teenagers, but these 2 grown people. You know what I'm saying?
No, Tom Holland's grown. Him and Zendaya. They gotta be at least like 21.
When the first Spider-Man movie, wasn't they both like 18 and 17 or something like that?
Nah, Zendaya was a grown woman.
They was grown by then. They was like at least 18, 19.
She did the first Spider-Man movie.
She was 19, I think. That's a grown person.
Mm-hmm.
I said a teenager. She's still 19 and 20 is young, like young. Jonathan Majors is my age. There's a difference between 19 and 21 and 30 and 40. Those are 2 different age gaps.
Jonathan Majors only 21?
No, Jonathan Majors is like 35, 33, something
yeah,
like
he's
that.
my age. I'm saying that Zendaya and Tom Holland are 19 and 20, respectfully. They're young. They're young people. They're teenagers.
Well, they're
were.
Not no more. They old enough to drink now.
Yeah, now, but then they weren't when they was on the set.
Well, I hope everything works out.
I hope we do too, but I heard a lot of news
So I'll catch you guys on the next conversation. Like I said, I host my rooms every Tuesday, 9 a.m. in the morning. I'll run them as long as I can, usually till about 12 p.m. whenever somebody shows up. And then I also do one at night at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. And we talk about nerd stuff. We talk about news, pop culture. I cover everything. And I appreciate you guys checking us out. Join the camp, NIA, on Fanbase. You all have a great day. And please like, share, and subscribe.